Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Very overcast sky today, quite cold, good bit of snow still on the ground, not too deep. Anyway, I'm coming to you today because it's a subject I think that's important for us to discuss, especially if you're going to go out in nature and you're going to want to build a fire. Okay, so when you're out in nature, how do you identify the material you want to use to build a fire? Okay, well, as you see, there's a lot of trees here, but they're all green. They're all live trees, and they don't make the best when it comes to building a fire, especially if it's cold, damp, and damp like a day like this it is today. So what do you choose? What do you look for to get that fire going, for that tinder, so that fire will be healthy and it'll burn? We'll get right back with you on that. So something we're looking for is what we call standing dead. Standing dead is like what you see right here. This is a dead tree that's still not on the ground. It's above the ground. Now it's collected some snow. That doesn't matter. You can actually take this down, you can split it open, and you got plenty of good dry wood inside this. Now what you don't want is something that's rotten, punky wood. This right here is going to be moist, it's going to be wet, it's not going to work so well. This right here though is exactly what we're looking for. A standing dead tree or branch. Now around this right here, we have other standing dead trees or branches, and they can be used, okay? So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something that's gonna be standing and dead, or branches that are not on the ground. They might be up in a tree or something still, or it could be a dead branch on a tree. That's what you're looking for. The next thing you wanna do is classify all that. You see, I'm sort of in the middle of this. When I say classify, I'm referring to type of wood and the size, okay? This right here is a branch that just popped right off of the tree. It's a piece of it's a dead branch actually. This is perfect for what we're looking for. Now, the next thing you want to do is start collecting this, okay? And how do we do that? Well, one way is to have a big bag on you or just collect it in your hands. First thing I do is, as I'm moving around in the forest, I'm collecting anything that I can use to build a fire that's not too big. Well, if you have a nice bag on you, get yourself a cotton bag or a garbage bag or something like that. Any kind of bag that you can have, you can start putting inside of it whatever you collect. It could be tinder, it could be bark from a birch tree, or bark from a vine that's dead and dried. It could be certain plant life, some tall grasses that are brown and dead. You can collect those up. All this stuff has to be processed, of course. I mean, prepared before you can begin. But that's the basis of it. And then after that, you get your bundles of wood. And you start off from very, very thin, even small. I mean, we're talking about thin like this, okay? You need to get yourself two good round handfuls, really compacted that way. And something you can do is if you move through the forest, if you're hiking and stuff, you can find these, and then what you can do is you can just basically put them together and hang them off your backpack, or put them on your backpack, or put them in a bag, and you can collect these up. And as you're moving around, you're preparing for that fire that you're going to need to make a little bit later on. Okay, so let's continue. As I move through the forest, move through my hike, I'm going to basically do what hunter-gatherers did, and that is I'm going to find food along the way. I'm going to find safety along the way. I'm going to find water. I'm going to look for a place I can camp out at, and look for material I can use to build fire with. And right here behind me, you can see this right here. Farmer has cut all these limbs down around the field, and he stacked them up here. Now these make a couple of good things. Number one, it's a good place for insects and bugs and animals to hide in, to hibernate in, to sleep in, okay? Another thing it does, on the top of that, you have, as this dries out, you have good wood to burn. So you can actually pick through that, find what you want, cut it up into good sizes, and drag it off to where you plan on building your fire. And it's all going to be dry as long as it's not sitting on the ground in the wet all the time. Sure, it has some snow on it right now. That's just superficial. That's just on top of the bark. It's going to protect most of that, okay, and keep most of it dry. So as that dries out, that makes excellent firewood, especially to start your fire. Good wood to find, and that is on the bottom of a lot of spruce trees. You'll see all these dried limbs, and some of them are still green, but most of them are dead and they're dry. And they make really good wood to start a fire. But because it's spruce, because it's a evergreen, it burns very quickly. So it's not going to hold on to that fire for very long. But what it does is it helps you to get that fire going. And so you can collect up a bunch of that. Quick story, one night I was up in the Jura and with a friend of mine, and the only thing, it was a lot of deep snow, and we were building a long fire. And we spent most of the night trying to replenish the wood for the fire because we had used all the wood that we had collected during the day. And I'm talking about a big pile of wood that we had collected. And we spent the rest of the night up under all the spruce trees, breaking off branches to throw on that fire. Did we stay warm? Well, we survived. I'm here right now. Was it cold? Yes, it was. And it was very tiring doing it all night because that wood burns so quickly. So what you want to try to do is you want that fire to last a long time, get you some good hardwood. Also, while you're inside these spruce forests, you're going to run into lots of dead wood on the ground like you see right here. Now, this doesn't make the best firewood, but because quite often it actually is wet and it's punky actually, so it doesn't burn very well. And if this is wet, it's not going to burn at all. But what it does do is that sometimes you can go through here and you can actually find older wood, and in the middle of it you have the heart, and in that heart you can find a concentration of the sap. And this sap is what we call fat wood, or this wood is called fat wood. That's in the heart of it. And that you can take along with you and put it into your kit and use that to help start a fire later on. That's just the hunter-gatherer part of it, finding what you need, okay? We're going to concentrate a little bit later on with how to take all that, put it together in a process and a technique, at least one that I learned, how to build a fire, okay? And it's one that's never failed me. It's always worked. And we'll talk about that in the next video. Don't let the cold weather, the snow, not allow you to get out into the wilderness and to get outdoors and enjoy a weekend camping overnight with friends and family, or just by yourself, just to get some of those 5 billion stars of quality outdoor. Get out there, find what you need. It's still out there. The firewood's always out there. Find it and use it. And if all else fails, bring you a liter bag of charcoal. But what I suggest you do is get out there and start learning and practicing the fire making in all elements, especially in the cold winter time. And like I said, we're going to talk about that more in the next video. Anyway, I want to thank you for coming to the channel, and I appreciate if you all give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share, hit that bell, and leave a comment down below. If you have any questions, please let me know. And even over this time period right here, if you're looking to take a class in bushcraft, no matter what it is, let me know. And you can contact me in the comments below, especially if you're in the Swiss Vermont area. We can get together, and I go from a half a day to multi-days, whatever you want, desire, and you need. But the best thing to do is get out there and start bushcrafting. Listen, you guys take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you very soon. Goodbye.